Hi guys, good day and welcome to today on PrincessAnuTv. Hope you all are doing fine and great. I'm so glad to be on your screen one more time this morning. And just in case you're stumbling on this channel for the first time and you don't know me, yeah, my name is PrincessAnu, and on this channel we talk about aviation, motivation, and adventure. And please, if you've not subscribed and you're an aviation lover, you love traveling, you love anything that has to do with aviation, you have to love something that has to do with aviation because you must have traveled by plane. You must have somebody that is working in the airport. And so please subscribe. And there's some few things I want us to talk about today that concerns to some questions I've been receiving. Like people have asked me questions like, if if I'm a sickle cell person, will I be able to become a pilot? If I have this disability or the other. And as I was going through my NCR, in case you don't know what NCR means, it's the Nigerian Civil Aviation Regulation. And yes, we were using the 2015 one. That was the latest then, but now you have the 2023 version. That's the version that is very more current. Obviously, it's amended. Yeah. So uh, that's the version we're going to be using to talk about some of these things. I'm going to be talking about some things they have in the NCAR, talking about people with asthma, people with HIV, people with sickle cell issues, and people with diabetes. And like I'm already going into the topic because everything about aviation for me is always interesting, and it it just gives me joy. I just keep talking. Anyways, okay, let's go back to the topic. Now, we're trying to talk about, we'll first start with asthma, then we go to diabetes, we go to sickle cell, and we go to HIV. Just want to tell you some few things that the NCAR talked about it. I'm going to be reading it direct from the NCAR to you. I'm actually with my iPad here, and so I know it's going to be easier because it's not a cramped stuff. You have to know what is in the NCAR to be able to say this is what the regulation is saying concerning this or that. There's no point for guesswork. I know that most of the time I tell people that they should go for a medical exam and ask a aviation medical examiner if they are fit. But now, even without you going to an AME, to check if you're fit, because obviously if you want to do a class 1 medicals, and that's another thing, let's even talk about class 1, class 2, class 3 medicals. For you to work as a commercial pilot in Nigeria, you have to have a class 1 medicals. So I'm going to be concentrating more on the class 1 medicals because that is the most important medicals that you need to have if you want to work as a commercial pilot. And you know that when we talk about commercial pilots, you know that it's trying to fly for money, flying for revenue. You're not flying for free. You're not flying just to carry your family and friends. That's what private pilot license holders do. And recreational pilots, you have recreational pilots, you have different other kind of pilots. But now I'm talking about commercial pilots. You want to fly to get money. Yeah. So there are special requirements for that, and you need to have a class 1 medicals. So that's where I'm mainly going to be focusing on in this video, a class 1 medicals. So let's go straight into it. And we are going to be looking at the part 2. In the SCR, you have different parts. You have part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. We are not doing law. We are not coming to say section 1, part 1, but actually, that's part of what we're going to do today. Yeah, that's what we're going to do today, but I'm not going to go in depth as if we are doing law, no. I'm just going to be talking about it as it concerns the medicals because you need to qualify for the medicals for you to be able to get that license. So let's go. The first thing, like I said, we're going to be talking about asthma. The issue of asthma in part 2, which is personnel licensing under class 1 medical certificate. So you have part 2.11, that's 2.11.2.6. Yes, just in case you have your NCR with you, or you can even download it online. This is what it says. First of all, from the first part, it says an applicant for a CPL, an MPL, or an ATPL shall undergo an initial medical examination for the issue of a Class 1 medical. 2 says, except where otherwise stated in the subpart, the holder of a CPL, an MPL, or an ATPL shall have his or her Class 1 medical certificate renewed at intervals not exceeding those specified below. Now you know that for you to renew your medicals, for me, which I'm under the age of 40 and 60, I have to do mine yearly. The older you go, the timeline is going to reduce. There is an age you get to, you have to do every 6 months. Like your medical certificate, you have to renew every 6 months. Now, the third part says a Class 1 medical shall be issued with when the applicant complies with the requirements of this part. Now, there are some requirements that you have to comply with for you to be able to be fit to get a Class 1 medicals. But now, like I said, we are talking about just 4 diseases or 4 issues. I'm not going to call them diseases because it's not as if it's so bad that people that have asthma, it's not as if they are still doing fine, just that it's just a part of them that has that issue. So asthma, HIV, AIDS, sickle cell, diabetes, and all that. So let's talk about asthma. If you go to still that part 2, Class 1 medicals, you have to go to number 16. Yeah, number 16 and 17. This is what it says. An applicant with asthma causing significant symptoms or likely to cause incapacitating symptoms during normal or emergency operations shall be assessed as unfit. 17 says the use of drugs for control of asthma shall be disqualifying except for those drugs the use of which is compatible with safe exercise of the applicant's license and rating privileges. So, me reading this, my understanding is if your asthma is an issue that might cause, or they've seen it maybe during your flight, it's causing some issues during the flight, maybe at a certain point of the flight, maybe during your flight training and all, it's making you incapacitated. That's you can't perform what you're supposed to do, then you might be seen as unfit. But if it's not, you are still going to be seen as fit. And also, if you're taking those asthma drugs, because when you're filling your medicals, they're going to ask you, are you on certain drugs? What are those drugs? So, when you're talking to your aviation medical examiner, he's also going to ask you, oh, how are you feeling? Okay, what did you write? He's going to peruse through what you have written to know whether he's going to clear you as fit and unfit. So you can see that the room for the issue of asthma, I feel, is kind of open because they are not putting a pinpoint that if you have asthma, you cannot fly. No. But if it's going to cause you to be incapacitated, then you cannot have a Class 1 medical. So you're going to be considered as unfit. Now, let's look at diabetes. Diabetes is in number 25 and 26. It said an applicant with insulin treated diabetes mellitus, shall be assessed as unfit. That one is very clear. 26 says an applicant with non-insulin treated diabetes mellitus shall be assessed as unfit unless the condition is shown to be satisfactorily controlled by diet alone or by diet combined with oral anti-diabetic medication, the use of which is compatible with the safe exercise of the applicant's license and rating. So, if the person has diabetes and you are thinking, once you have diabetes, that person is already, once the person has an applicant with diabetes treated with diabetes mellitus, the person is seen as unfit. Now, the second part, which says if you are being treated, you are going to be considered as unfit unless maybe they are saying your own is due to diet, don't eat this, don't eat that. It doesn't have to do with much restrictions and all. It has to do with a lot of restrictions then, and you cannot take maybe oral tablets and all to stop. And you cannot take oral tablets and all to stop diabetes, then there's going to be a problem. I hope you're getting, in case you don't understand some of these things I'm saying, leave a comment in the comment section. I'm sure, see, we have a lot of aviation lovers on this channel. I must not be the one to answer you. Somebody is right there in the comment section waiting already to give you an answer. Now, number 3, let's go to sickle cell. Sickle cell is in number 27, just immediately after the stuff of diabetes. It says an applicant with disease of the blood and or the lymphatic system shall be assessed as unfit unless adequately investigated and the applicant's condition is found unlikely to interfere with the safe exercise of the applicant's license and rating privileges. If you have any issues of the blood at all, if it's not seen to cause you to be incapacitated again, there's no problem. But if they've seen it over time that you're having crises over and over again, and probably the person goes to tell your instructor probably goes to tell your AME or something, you might not likely get class 1. Because when you start your uh your flight training, you're actually going to be given a class 2. It is when you want to get your CPL that you are going to be upgraded to a class 1 medicals. So these things are very important that you need to watch out for. Now, they said note, still on that 27, they said note, sickle cell trait or other globinopathic traits are usually compatible with a fit assessment. So probably if you are a sickle cell person and all, you have to get a fit assessment to say you are fit and you're able to fly. Somebody's going to clear you out. And you know why it's very risky? Because whoever is writing that you are fit, if God forbid anything happens and you are not fit, they're going to hold the person's responsible and probably even seize the person's license. That's why people are very, very careful, and they are they always try to be very like diplomatic about, like, not diplomatic, they try not to compromise in things like this, because you're not just going to be flying yourself when you become a commercial pilot, you are going to be flying a whole lot of other persons. So they want to be sure that you are able to do what you say you can do or what you were trained to do. Lastly, let's go to HIV. Now, the issue of HIV and AIDS. No, I don't want to join AIDS because here they said HIV. We know HIV is different, AIDS is different. So if they say HIV, who am I to join AIDS to it? So, an applicant who is seropositive for HIV shall be assessed. I'm reading from 32, still on part 2, that's personnel licensing number 32, under class 1 medicals. I go again. An applicant who is seropositive for HIV shall be assessed as unfit unless the applicant's condition has been investigated and evaluated in accordance with medical practice and is assessed as not likely to interfere with the safe exercise of the applicant's license or rating privileges. So even if somebody has HIV, the person can still be cleared to have a class 1 medicals and still fly as a pilot if your HIV will not interfere with your capacity to fly. That's basically what they're saying. If they investigate your condition and it is not going to cause you any issues while flying, then you are going to be cleared to fly. But you see, going through these things makes me to see how strict and how important this job is if you definitely decide to pick it. You have to be like super, super careful, like extra careful, because if anything goes wrong, your class 1 medicals is out. it is out. I mean, it is gone and gone. So, whatever you're doing, whatever kind of life you're living, whatever thing you're doing, you need to always check it. Always check it. Always check it because you don't want to lose what you love so much, and which is the flying. So, if you love the flying so much, if you love, oh, you say, oh, you love to carry people to their destinations, you love to make people smile, you love to connect families together, there's your passion to see the world, and all that. Then these things need to be at the back of your mind. Are you taking care of yourself? Are you eating healthy? All those things. You really, really need to consider those things because these are the things that will determine if you're going to get a class one medicals, if your medicals are going to be renewed or not. I hope you've gained one or two things from this video. If you have, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and do all the nice things in the comment section. I always love to see your comments, so don't forget to leave a comment for me. Till I see you guys next time on the same channel. Keep watching Princess Anu TV. Bye.